He didn't look at me when he said it. His voice cut through the quiet kitchen, colder than the granite counters between us. I wanted divorce. I refused to be tied to a lazy, worthless woman. I remember the clink of his glass against the marble, the way his lips curled like he'd rehearsed those words in his head. He expected tears, screams, begging. He got silence. I stared at him, every nerve in my body burning, but my face, still unreadable. Lazy, worthless. He didn't even know. When we first met, I thought I'd won the lottery. He was charming in that careless, dangerous way men know how to wield. He had a sharp jawline, a sharper wit, and eyes that burned with ambition. I was young, naive, convinced his drive would protect me, not crush me. He used to call me his anchor, said I kept him grounded. But anchors don't just hold ships steady, they drag them down too. That was the part he never forgave me for. The truth? He loved being adored, not loved. There's a difference. The cracks came quietly. Late nights at the office, sudden showers before bed. The way his phone lived face down on the nightstand, locked tighter than a bank vault. I caught the first clue in the reflection of his sunglasses. Her hand brushing his in a cafe. My best friend, my confidant. Her laughter always seemed to echo a little too long when he was near. I didn't confront him, not yet. I waited, watched, collected every subtle betrayal like beads on a string. By the time I pieced it together, hotel receipts, lipstick smudges on his shirt collar, the ghost of her perfume on his jacket, I wasn't devastated. I was steady, cold. Because devastation is loud, revenge is silent. When he asked for the divorce, I signed the papers without hesitation. My compliance unsettled him. He expected a war. He didn't know I'd already declared one. He just hadn't heard the opening shot. He never asked about finances. Why would he? He assumed I was broke, dependent. He'd called me his little hobby. What he never bothered to notice was the laptop I worked on after midnight, the contracts I signed under a separate LLC, the steady climb of my online business. By the time he packed his last box, my accounts showed $450,000, untouched, untouchable. He left thinking he'd discarded dead weight. In reality, he freed me. The wedding came fast, too fast. Him and her, my best friend. He paraded her around like a trophy, his smugness so thick it clung to him like sweat. I received the invitation, whether out of cruelty or arrogance, I'll never know. I didn't attend. I didn't need to. I had a better plan. First, I bought the house he once told me was out of our league. Cash. When they pulled up for a showing, expecting a tour of their dream home, they saw me in the doorway, keys dangling from my hand. I smiled, soft, polite. They left without stepping inside. Then came the business gala. His company was desperate for investors. He didn't know I was on the guest list. When the spotlight turned to announce the new silent partner, I stepped forward. Every eye in the room landed on me. His ex-wife, the woman he called worthless. His face drained white, then flushed crimson. I didn't gloat, didn't say a word. Silence was louder. The real climax came later, at a dinner. I was invited by a mutual acquaintance, seated, by fate or design, across from him and his new bride. He tried to control the room, making jokes at my expense, as if he could shrink me back into the woman I once was. That's when the host raised a glass. To our generous sponsor. Without her, none of this would be possible. The room applauded. His wife's fork clattered against her plate. His jaw tightened, a vein pulsing at his temple. He realized then, every move he made, every insult, every betrayal, I had turned into leverage. He left me thinking I was weak, but weakness had been my disguise. The look on his face? Priceless. I won't pretend it didn't hurt. It did. Betrayal cuts deep, especially when it comes from two people you once trusted with your life. But pain doesn't define me. What I did next did. I chose silence over spectacle, precision over chaos. I never raised my voice. I never begged. I simply built, brick by brick, dollar by dollar, until the empire stood taller than his ego. Now when I pass them in town, he avoids my eyes. She forces a smile that cracks at the edges. They live small, caged by their own choices. I live free. He once said I was worthless. But worth isn't spoken, it's shown. And mine stands in sharp contrast to the ruins of his pride. So I let him choke on his arrogance. Because sometimes the sweetest revenge is nothing more than success served in silence.